Welcome, fellow travelers. I'm Lahallah.
I'm Marrleskitteh, and I'm joining Chibi and Vertek at the Golden Feather.
Come on in, grab a seat, and let's share tales of adventure.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Golden Feather Tavern, where your host, myself, Chibi, and Vertek discuss Ashes of Creation and important topics spoken about within the Ashes community. Every week, we invite you, the viewer, and a special guest, or two in this case, to pull up a chair, grab a pint, and join the conversation with us. Today is the 22nd of September, 2023, and we are on episode 180, It Takes Two. The traveling bards joining us today are Lahallah and Marrleskitteh. How are you two today?
Good, how are you?
Doing pretty well. Hopefully both of your days were not too difficult on this Friday.
Mine was great.
Yeah, thank goodness it's Friday.
Yeah. Somebody actually asked me if TGF stood for Thank God It's Friday. And I was like, no, but I mean, we do happen to be on Friday, so I guess it's close enough. And at the moment, I'm technically joined by Vertek, though he is a little bit away. So I will be kind of doing the base intro, and when he's able to be back, he will step on in.
Sounds good.
So let's talk about you two. You are both a part of Grey Sentinels. Let's talk about your roles within Grey Sentinels.
Well, I am the, head. I think I'm called it's not Herald, I forget what we've called it. It's like Seneschal or something like that. Basically, I cover the house of Kavon as a wife to Anduin. And what that means is just basically heading up RP currently. So that's what I'm doing.
Very nice.
And I am the Master of Initiates. Essentially, I'm a new member orientation officer. So all new members, all initiates, kind of go through me for orientation, history about the guild, and to kind of find their place around here.
Oh, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And were both of you a part of Grey Sentinels when it first got founded, or have you joined since?
No, I believe we both joined since. I joined in 2021.
Okay.
I don't quite remember when I joined. It was sometime a few years ago, though.
That's fair. It's funny how time evades us, essentially, because our podcast was established in 2019, technically, and I just realized how long that has been the other day. And I was like, wow, time flies.
It really does.
So, yeah. Okay. What is your favorite part of being a part of Grey Sentinel?
I love the sense of community. Like, I look forward to getting online every day and talking to everybody and finding out about their day. It's really kind of become like my insular friend group, because a lot in town where I live, most of my friends have moved elsewhere recently. So this is really like my people. They're my people.
That's fine.
I hate to piggyback, but my answer would be the same as Lahallah's. Honestly, it's just great to see how much the community has grown, even since just I joined. It's huge now.
Yeah, I think with Alpha 2 on the horizon, wherever that horizon may be, because sometimes, there's a horizon, but, we just don't see it yet. And I'm just going to slowly nudge Vertek down. Don't mind him. But
Really thinks behind the counter.
Yeah. And I think as Alpha 2, approaches, we will find more and more people interested in Ashes and interested in joining some of the guilds that are out. And I feel like that's just going to kind of ebb and flow as time moves. And I think that's natural with any game. I mean, look at World of Warcraft, the guild that I was a part of when I played more often. It had more active times and it had less active times. And guilds die all the time, even during live games. So for some of the guilds that have since kind of diminished from even the initial Kickstarter or from when they first started since then, I feel like that's just kind of natural a little bit. So it's really nice to see, because you guys were playing, I think, World of Warcraft together as a guild. So it's really nice that there's like a strong community sense. And I've seen that a lot with a few of the other guilds as well, playing video games together, organizing things together. Even within our own guild, we've done stuff like that. And it's really nice because while we're all waiting for this main game, everybody's finding a little bit of time together to kind of build kind of that bondship that a guild would have. And I like it. It's really awesome.
Yeah, we're always trying new, different things to bring people together. Like currently, we have Sanctus RP within our Discord.
Nice.
And we are playing Phasmophobia now that it's spooky season. So just different things like that. We've also played Cards Against Humanity, movie watching, like just anything that we can think of to bring people together. We try it.
That's awesome.
Right now, a lot of our people are actually playing WoW.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
the classic WoW. Yeah,
Wrath of the Lich King. Yeah, not hardcore. We did try that, and then people like me died a lot.
Yeah, no, I didn't do hardcore for that same reason. I'm not very good at PvP, and also when you can kind of really over gear like easily, I think, especially some of the heirlooms and stuff. If not everybody has access to those.
Yeah.
I think they call that twinking. But, I think especially with some people who are overgeared, and then I'm also still just trying to learn how to play the character in general with my gear that I do have, which is not heirloom, then I have no chance, and then I would just be dead constantly.
Oh, yeah. Thankfully, hardcore, they didn't really have PvP. Like, that wasn't turned on. The only form that you were able to do was dueling, and you had to hard accept twice and type stuff in order to duel, just so that you know that your character is going to die.
yeah, that makes sense. Are you sure this is irreversible?
We didn't really have to worry about PvP. It was, just classic WoW. We were talking about it today in Northshire Abbey, which is where we were leveling.
Nice.
There was one specific NPC and a henchman that as soon as you killed it, it respawned.
Oh, geez.
Instantly.
Wow.
Wow.
So, yeah, I had to run away or I was going to die. Kind of thing. So, yeah.
Snickers. Thank you so much. Cheers. Oh, hold on. I'm gonna get it. Cheers. There we go. Who is Lahallah and why is Vertec turned into Marrleskitteh? That's so funny. Snickers is our resident troll. We love him.
Aw.
Sneaky snake. But Vertec will be here eventually.
Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Hopefully. Fingers crossed indeed. So otherwise you just have us two girls, those two girls, us three girls. Goodness.
Yeah.
Okay. Just kidding. Vertec is suddenly feeling much more awake, so I'm just going
to rise from the ashes. There you go.
There we go.
Oh man, I don't know when the last time we cleaned down there was, but we can use it again.
I'll let the crew know.
Need to get a janitor.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh, I love this. I wonder what he was
Hello,
doing under the
everybody.
table. Oh, jeez.
Oh no.
Snackers. I was excited for ladies' night. You know what? Maybe one day I'll do a bonus stream. We'll get the three of us on and any other ladies that want to come on. We'll make that a bonus stream. How about that? At least he's close today. Never.
Whoa, now.
Whoa, now.
Whoa, now. You have to
Well.
break out many more tips. Oh, never mind.
Oh, jeez.
Gotta make it rain in here.
With that, I suppose we could go on to the full part of our podcast here. Unless, Vertek, you had any questions for Marls and Lahallah?
Oh, I have no idea what all questions were asked. So instead of eating up all that time, I'll just say we can move along.
Okay.
I'll develop questions through the stream, I'm sure.
Okay.
Sounds great. So today we will be speaking about PvP, gameplay aspects, and other community topics such as favored cosmetics, the farmland and pastures, and I did look at Wizzy McNasty. Welcome in, by the way. I looked at the Dream Nodes page, and I want to discuss that a little bit. So, first, I'll let you
Tell us a
guys.
story about the waterfalls.
Yes. I'll let you guys choose. Where should we start off with? A random topic, a gameplay topic, or a PvP topic? And we'll just stick within that category.
Marils, you choose.
Okay. Let's start with gameplay then.
Okay. So let's see. I want to start with the suggestion that they had. This is from Crenatus? Question mark. And the suggestion is kill contracts. And the general idea is, as a prerequisite to using a siege scroll, they think it would be interesting to have players first earn and execute kill contracts on certain node NPCs. If a player kills a certain number of node citizens, they can earn a kill contract for that node. The kill contract would then allow the player to open a bounty on certain key node NPCs, so example vendors, artisan trainers, etc. And the general thought is that the NPCs that you can... Music is a touch too loud. Thank you. I will bring that down a little bit. Thank you. So the general idea is being able to take out certain node NPCs where maybe it's like a blacksmith or some of the other main ones where you would get the most benefit as a castle or a guild trying to defend. And so it's kind of like a tactical idea.
Mm-hmm.
So the general benefit would be that, to their understanding, the currently explained system for starting node sieges allows the players to select the node they would like to siege, and after the siege scroll has been earned. However, this means that nodes probably aren't able to do anything to prevent a siege. Therefore, incorporating kill contracts could make or could be much better, because it would give node citizens a chance to kind of make siege declarations more difficult, but not impossible necessarily. So just on that basic intro, what are your thoughts?
Well, like currently playing WoW on an RP PvP server, when opposition comes through and kills like quest turn-ins, flight people, that's really annoying as somebody who's trying to level up.
Mm-hmm.
So part of me is like, no, let's not do that. But I also kind of see the other side of that, where it does lend itself more to like an Ashes of Creation kind of gameplay. So I can see where it would be cool, but I like if there is questing involved in Ashes, and I don't know how much of that's going to be. Like I know in Alpha 1 we did have quests, but is that going to carry over? I don't know. But don't kill those people that you pick up quests from and people that you turn in to. But the rest of it's fair game.
Yeah, I could see that.
I'm interested to see how exactly that could be coded and balanced.
Right.
Yeah, but it sounds fun.
I could also see it kind of fun from almost like a role play perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Like, haha, I have thwarted your blacksmith.
Yeah.
You cannot make weapons now. Yeah, haha.
Yes, we've assassinated all of your
Snicker.
craftsmen or whatever.
Yeah. Not quite the
Whirl's
same role play
mustache.
that I was meaning. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Her.
Next, we tie you to train tracks.
Oh no, not the train tracks. Oh my gosh. Mass murder fun, right?
Yeah.
Oh gosh. I don't know if it'd be that easy.
But yeah, like killing NPC craftsmen and making it harder for you to build siege equipment would be interesting.
I feel like it should be fair play on both sides then.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Vertec is being a little bit on the clumsy side. I think there might be like a little bit of a spill behind the bar. I'm scared that it will lead to half of Node NPC being constantly dead. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, I think they shouldn't make it just all the time, right? Or easily done.
If you've got a time limit, kind of like a daily quest thing. Like you've got
Kind of
24
like
hours.
in siege windows.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, like a siege window where like you have this amount of time to try, but like there's going to be guardsmen. They're not just going to let you walk in and just kill people.
Well, and it would have to bring the players who are part of that town or that node
Right.
in to protect the people like they're supposed to.
Right. I mean, if you look at World of Warcraft, right? Whenever somebody used to come in and try to get Ganon from like the Horde side, like the Horde would like collectively get together and try to take out the Alliance, and vice versa with the Alliance side and the Horde members sneaking into the Alliance sides.
Mhm.
So I just remember that being just poor Ganon, just dead.
Always dead. So dead.
So dead. It's like, oh, okay. And then they beefed him, and then people were trying their hardest to take him out. It was funny. Just a group of people just trying to take him out.
Then he became like
A mini boss.
yeah, he was kind of like a mini boss. Like he took part in this. Did he take part in the siege of Orgrimmar? I can't remember.
You know, I can't remember that. But yeah, I will kind of go on to the next topic. But if Vertex, oh, never mind, Vertex back.
Oh man,
You okay?
Alexia, I blame you. I blame you.
Yeah.
As soon as there was a comment about wishing they're sad there's not going to be a ladies' day, that is the first time I get a ping from work in a while, and I look over thinking, man, I'm gonna have to go back, and then no, I don't have to go back, not yet.
Not yet.
And so I relaxedly turn around and just knock over a drink out the side of my table.
Oh.
My goodness.
Well, 4 people today. Yes, we have 4 people today. Almost 3.
So,
We almost didn't have a Vertex.
Almost. I mean, I'm going to be partially here, apparently.
Yeah, apparently.
Getting half summoned away. Causing no ruckus. Are we still on the kill contracts?
Yes, I was just about to change when you said back, so you just got back in time.
All right.
By the way,
See, I've
welcome in.
always thought it would be really, really neat to have some extra conditionals on, declaring sieges and such. And those kill contracts sound like a cool idea for it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, besides just going out and you have to collect all the materials known to man, and then you have to pay a lot of money, and you have to wait a lot of time. No, just go do stuff. You got to do lots of stuff, lots of things.
Yeah.
And it just makes sense. If you're going to try and tackle a siege or a siege node anyway, you're probably going to want to assassinate some key individuals before you do that.
Right.
Right.
And that's why I was
Makes
saying it would seem like a tactical thing almost.
Yeah. And for everyone you don't get or you don't take care of before the siege begins, you just, guess what? They get a little bit of a bonus, or vice versa. You start them at X power, and every little contract you actually execute,
Mm-hmm.
you get a little power reduction on their side.
Right.
Yeah. I'm okay with it as long as they're not quest givers or receivers. because
Right.
that's annoying.
Indeed.
Yeah. 10 people prefer faster combat than slower ones. Oh, Snuckers is wondering if Ashes is going to speed up combat because apparently TL, which I think Throne and Liberty, has maybe a slightly faster combat speed. I've not actually looked at Throne and Liberty, so I don't really know. But I think that the important part is getting the stuff down and then tweaking things from there. And you know, it's hard to say until we get in. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was about to say, Snuckers. We'll see when in alpha.
Yeah, I want to say that Steven's mentioned that he has a preference for slowing down combat a little bit to get away from the super Twitch action type combat. But
And all
it seems
the
like it was
critical
pretty.
effects.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. It seemed like it was a pretty decent balance in the Alpha 1 anyway. It wasn't
Right.
crazy fast, but then again, we only had 3 skills, so there's not much you can judge with that.
As someone coming from Black Desert, I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
You know, some days I miss Black Desert. Others, I'm glad I don't have it installed anymore.
So the next question is on nodes and group play, which is important. So this is from the Reddit for Ashes from Spawn 12345 and the question is how will the nodes affect group play, and could it affect group play negatively? From their understanding, nodes will have to decide which building they want to build and therefore in which direction they want to specialize. There won't be enough space to build every building, so there will be, for example, nodes that will specialize in armor smithing while others will specialize maybe in weapon smithing. And the idea behind this post is, would this be a situation where the bigger groups of friends that play together bind more easily to a node because they're a group that are probably more closely aligned in what they're wanting? Although I think Vertek and I are a good example of that not necessarily being the case. But do you think that having the nodes in the way that they are determined by the mayor and the voting system, do you think that that will negatively be impacted for group play?
I'm going to give a hesitant no, just because I feel like the amount of people that are there, like if you have a larger amount of people in a group, say like all of GS and their allies or whatever, like they're all kind of wanting the same thing, so they're going to vote that way. So it's going to lean more towards whoever has the most people there.
Right.
Which may negatively impact smaller guilds or people or single people who decide to settle there.
Right.
But as far as like group quests or group questing or like going out and gathering in groups, like it's all, I think we plan to do all of that. So I don't know how it would negatively impact like group gameplay.
One of the examples they gave were if the like node bonuses were for like a certain node were what they wanted, but they didn't really like the houses or the different buildings that were being built.
Yeah.
There wouldn't be a very close node that would be comparable in terms of the same benefits. So that means like that might spread out the friends or things like that. In this case, your guild, but in their case, the friends.
Right.
Across a couple different nodes, making it harder to get together, potentially.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I could see that as well. So,
Marl, what are your thoughts?
I just agree. Honestly, no notes over here.
no notes.
Yeah, I think it could be an issue for some people for sure, because again, if you run in there with just a group of like 12 friends or whatever from another game, like let's say a year down the road, the game's actually developed out. It's actually, 2 years, 3 years down the road. It's had some time to establish some nodes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And people are just really kind of unsure on what they want to do. They're just exploring, just diving in. Mm-hmm. And they jump in with a group of 12 people, and then they see all these nodes developed and all the different bonuses. And the 12 people suddenly become fractured in two because they're like, well, do I go for life skills and stuff type bonuses from nodes, or should I go with more combat related? Wait. No, combat's more heavily split up between like exploration and PvE and PvP. And there's the different nodes that kind of support those play styles in various ways. So if I'm trying to get the best benefit, now it's suddenly split like 4 ways. Mm-hmm. And they're going to debate on which ones they want to go to. And if the world is that large and there's only 5 metropolises available to get like the big bonuses, they could be spread like it could take you an hour to run to your friend to run around with and play for the day.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, Snickers brings up a good point too. Crafting nodes would be interesting because of the specializations. Mm-hmm. So if I'm a part of a a node, if I'm part of a node and it's specializing in, I don't know, let's say armor smithing, but I want to be, I want to be Aurelia. I want to be the potion maker. Like, we're not really specializing in that. So I might have to go to a different node, which is fine. I understand that, but that go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think that kind of would lend people to make alliances with people from another node, because then they can let you on their freehold to use their processing or what have you. So I think it lends itself more to the socialized gameplay that Ashes will offer as opposed to mechanically. Right.
Sorry. And that's actually where I was going to go next with the whole thing, which was, no, you're fine. You were thinking the same wavelength as me. Is perfect. But I think that's where either having neighboring nodes or friends, but also I feel like that might lend itself to a little bit more of a heavy decision of where do I change my citizenship to should my node get sieged. Is there a nearby node that I would find more interesting? Mm-hmm. And I was mainly doing this one because it's the first one that I helped build up, etc.
Yeah.
So a silly idea I had one time, and I'm just going to throw this out here because it kind of fits the theme of the conversation. So what do you think about petitioning Steven for a new node type? It's going to be RP based.
RP, an RP node.
Yeah. And you see, anytime someone wants to lay siege to it, they're going to have to deal with the fact that they need to go through a 20-minute cutscene with a gigantic overview of everything and explanation of who's who and speeches and stuff like that.
And everything is the rally for the battle.
Yeah. But they just have to deal with, man, I don't want to spend 3 hours just to start fighting them. I mean, it's a great cutscene and all. We have to do it once in our life, but never again. Never again. Like, that's their defense. That way you don't need people to necessarily be PvP maniacs to support an RP node, right?
I thought you were going to go a different route. My brain totally went Romeo and Juliet, Ashes of Creation style. Where, how like the newer version, they had guns and they were called swords. But it was like the "do you bite your thumb at me, sir?" kind of thing.
Exactly.
I thought that would be so funny, declaring a node siege. I bite my thumb at you. You what?
Old English.
Just everything is Rosencrantz and Guildenstern.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I figure, as they're approaching the walls to attack it, they have to be in actual formation, and if they're not, they start losing points on the node siege part.
Oh my gosh.
I really think that if we were to decide everything by rolls, then it would take an entire day to have it all figured out, and nobody wants to do that.
There's always going to be the option for, your champion versus our champion out in the field of battle, form a ring, nobody interfere.
So the next topic is about kind of a little bit of a throwback. It's a little bit related to the others in terms of the gameplay, which is the Cleric Alpha 2 update. This person was a little bit late to the party, but they were worried that the Cleric might be a little tedious to have a chargeable skill as the bread and butter spam heal, which is Deliverance. Oh, okay. Sorry. Barback confused me. I put up the link and I looked over and I saw Grey Sentinels recruitment. I was like, did I put the wrong link in? No.
Wrong link.
No. It got me. But in general, they have a good feeling about the Cleric, but I think they're worried a little bit about the damage spells and other things. And we initially said that, they didn't share us all of the spells that were planned. And I believe Stephen did mention at one point that you could spec into more of a damage dealing one. But in terms of you two, I don't know what class you're planning on playing. But does the Cleric update concern you or anybody in your guild, or are you happy with it?
It does not affect me personally, because I am planning on going either fighter mage or mage fighter, one of the two.
Gotcha, nice.
But from what I've heard from people who aren't planning on playing Cleric, they're happy with it. Like, I don't know that I've heard anything negative. Marrles, have you? I don't.
I actually haven't heard much, unfortunately. I actually do plan on going summoner cleric, so a necromancer. Honestly, I just feel like I need more information about the primary class before I get too far into the secondary class.
Right.
But I'm interested to see how they implement it exactly.
Especially the secondaries.
Mm-hmm. Which is why I'm not sure if I'm going to do fighter primary or mage primary, because I'm not sure.
Right. All we know is that they're going to augment the primary skills, but not exactly how. Exactly. I think that depends on each primary class.
Because I know fighter mage is spellblade, and so I'm leaning towards that. But again, got to see how it all works.
Right.
Yeah, sadly, no true future prediction just yet.
No.
But as for me with Deliverance, I think that it's a really unique approach, and I would love, from a healer point of view, I would love a chargeable skill for your bread and butter if it adjusts how much mana it uses as well. Because you think your actual bread and butter heal is typically something that you're going to be casting almost at leisure, like you're planning it and you're saying, hey, they're dropping, and we go ahead and cast one of these, and you're looking around and whatever, your average healing skill, right? It's not your burst emergency heal. So something you could charge as much as you need and let it fire off when you're ready. I think that's actually a pretty cool idea. Damage is incoming in the next 2 seconds, so I'm going to start casting now, and when the damage hits, I'm going to let it go.
Right.
But if it has a scalable mana output as well, that maybe ramps up on a straight 1-for-1 basis, but yet the power of it ramps up really high the longer you hold it. So it really pays off for mana efficiency to hold it longer. I think that'd be a pretty cool setup there. But it's going to cost the same amount, whether you need to just pop it real quick or hold it for 2 seconds. Yeah, maybe not as a bread and butter.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So going from cleric gameplay into PvP, back on the discussion, the forums, from Trucker Lucy, talking about idea for tanking in PvP. What if taunting players made them do slightly increased damage to the tank and substantially less damage to others for the duration, which I think for tech, this is right up your alley. Instead of forcing players to attack the tank, rather allow the players to the opportunity to quote unquote mess up or try and quote unquote burst down the tank. I think freedom is always the best option because it allows people to reward and or punish themselves. And I know, Vertek, you had mentioned this a few times on your ideals for being a tank within the PvP aspects.
Yeah. That's pretty much what they're saying is exactly what I would love. Like, let me just give them a big beefy debuff so that it takes them longer to do any damage to anybody else.
Right.
But they can only do full damage to me. I mean, I wouldn't want it to do increased damage to a tank for that. I mean, by all means, ignore the tank. Let him just sit there and toss debuffs on everybody all day long and, you know, quote unquote, out heal the healers just because he's standing there casting taunt at the big baddie that comes through and his damage is cut in half. Even if he's popping cooldowns, his damage is cut in half. I'll just sit there in a corner and laugh. Sit in my little chair and just taunt. Ignore me all you want, friend.
What are your guys' thoughts, especially within the PvX aspect for your guild?
I mean, honestly, that's what I am. I feel like that's what I'm used to as far as taunts and PvP, like how they work is to either reduce by a percentage damage to anybody other than the person that used taunt or something to that effect as kind of like an AoE. But so sounds great to me. Like
I have never once played a tank ever, but I have played a lot of healers that are kind of stuck babysitting their tank. And that terrifies me that their taunt might allow other entities to kind of hit them harder, just because I know it would make my job as a healer a little bit harder. Right. But honestly, that does sound like it's part of the fun.
Mm-hmm. I mean, as a cleric, planned cleric main, and I usually just do healing anyway. Vertek's usually the tank, and I'm usually the healer. I trust Vertek to also use his cooldowns if necessary. So, like, it, you know, the thing I notice is it really takes a lot of communication, especially between tank and heals. Because you tend to, like, say, hey, I'm almost out of mana, you know, and then help them know that, like, you can't really heal right now. So if they can mitigate some of that, that would be ideal until you can heal. And I think this kind of circles back into, like, group play and guild play and playing in a Discord server with your guildmates and having those calls and naturally. But yeah, I don't know. It's like a little bit exhilarating sometimes as a healer where, like, most of the group is dying and then I somehow pull them back to life, just like with the right skill set, like the skill rotation, I guess is the word I'm looking at. But it's one of those, like, oh gosh, are they going to make it or are they going to die?
Here's hoping.
Here's hoping.
Best feeling when you bring them back, though.
Oh, it
like,
is.
I'm dying. No, you're not.
It is a little bit of a healer's high when you're like, I did that. You're alive because of me. Look.
Saved your life.
I saved your life.
But yeah, I think in general, like, I don't think I would be opposed to a little bit extra damage coming to me as a tank, because that's just the most frustrating thing ever, is being on a PvP battlefield and having zero things that I can do, because I can't throw a stun because they're already all immune to stuns because they've been stunned 17 times right now. Can't use a slow because, again, they've been hit with slows so much that my slow isn't going to make it much more of a difference.
Right.
And taunting is... It does nothing unless it literally forces someone to attack you or reduces the damage they output. And that's basically a tank's toolkit. They don't do a bunch of damage. So they're either crowd control or taunt. That's it.
Yeah. Snooker says you taunt enemies and they armor pierce and sunder you. I waited because I was like, wait a minute, there was a correction down below. And you start to pray to your healer. Which
yeah.
I could kind of see that as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
But let's see. Snooker's kind of going back to some things that we were just kind of idly talking about in chat, saying that they're hoping that the main concern for Ashes will be the sound design, because right now the sound design in nodes, they're kind of getting the Final Fantasy 14 PSD with the music and everything, and they want nodes to sound alive, and NPCs have their quotes that we can hear as we're passing by. And I actually ended up responding to this. This is the hold on, do this. This is the post on Twitter, and it was their fly through of the village node. And they said, what immersive elements do you look for in a visually compelling MMORPG village? And my specific answer from TGF was just in general, the idle chatter between NPCs that you can accidentally walk into as they walk around doing things. It really brings the space alive and makes it feel lived in, and like the world is existing already outside of just players. And I'm hoping we see that in general a little bit more. Like you're already seeing them moving around and taking barrels different places, and I'm curious to see what that would look like during a castle siege. Like, would they all like run and hide, or are they running around trying to help with preparations? What would that look like, you know? Is Alexia, to go back to the taunting, says taunt could be interesting if it made people only able to use damaging abilities. Sorry, I am butchering that. But yeah, I think those are important pieces to have. And going to the castle siege, not a lot of people, but some people have upvoted this question on the Reddit, which is, why are castle sieges instanced? And a lot of the people that I've seen with their responses were talking about, oh my gosh, Snickers. We're talking about, just the mass amount of players and how having that open world might wreak havoc for a certain part of the open world. Oh my gosh, Vertec. So in general, they're talking about helping with performance reasons. But oh my gosh, guys. But Steven actually ends up responding, by the way, and says that castle sieges are not instanced. They're in the open world. There may be objectives that are instanced, however. So instead of the entire castle siege being instanced, there's certain objectives that are instanced. What do you guys think of that in terms of just, I guess, being able to plan out something like that in general?
I mean, I both like the fact that castle sieges are going to be open world and also hate it.
I'm a little scared for my computer's performance.
Exactly.
My computer's on the older side, y'all. I can't do this.
Like, I got mine 1 or 2 years ago, but I'm still like, can you do it, baby? Like, but as far as like instance objectives, I mean, I think that's interesting because you would probably, if depending on like the size of it, send groups to do different objectives in the first place. So instancing it, I don't really see any issue in that, other than PvP couldn't be done. Like, you couldn't prevent somebody from completing the objective because they're in an instance. So
Yeah.
What if they're an instance with like an equal number of like opposing force?
okay, so like if you have a group of 5 people that you send in there to do the objective, and then whoever's going to siege you is able to send like 5 in there as well, so that it's a 10-person instance. Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Yeah.
I think that'd be interesting too. I'm interested in seeing just how they plan to just go about it, but Jeff says no instance equals favor for Zergs, essentially. Oh my gosh. Narrow. I'm not letting this get derailed. Vertec.
didn't do nothing. I'm just reporting the news.
Yeah, I agree with Jeff. And no instance would favor Zergs. So
yeah. And see, that's where, coming from some other games that I played, even going to like Planet Side 2, I was psyched up to play that and whatnot, but it's absolutely open world. And once you get one team that has a foothold in an area, it's kind of stuck there for a while after the game was established for a minute, you know. It kind of stuck there because new people would always just choose that team just to always be the winners. And it would kind of get stagnant. It would feel blah because anyone could just swoop in and try to be the ones to take over an area, right? But then anyone could swoop in and help the other side that's already winning too. And it just
third party-ish.
It always felt meh. Whereas if they limited the confrontation size to maybe a 50-50 or 100-100 based on population size or something, that would have been great.
Nara says they have to limit node sieges too, in some way. So not just castle sieges. Which, yeah, that's fair. There's a lot that goes into these systems, and you know, I'm interested in seeing more of the node system because we only got like mainly a mayor sneak peek in a few of the systems within the node system in terms of the mayor and how the mayor can have buildings go up for essentially kind of like auction in a way. Like, do you agree to put resources towards this? If so, then we're going to have this building. If not, then okay. I don't know.
On the topic of instanced sieges and whatnot, though, I do have to comment that I find it interesting that node sieges and the like, I think even the castle sieges are going to be instanced. Those are instanced, yet raids and dungeons mostly are not. And I found that very, very interesting.
And I believe the quote on that was like 80-20.
Yeah, like 20% of them are going to be instanced and most of them are going to be story related, and that's it. I just find it an interesting contrast there because it's protect the PvP crowd, but yet the PvE crowd, we're going to open it up for you to get wrecked by PvP. And we totally do that in the name of game balance. It just feels weird.
I feel like that happens in a lot of games.
Right.
But I mean, we'll see how it goes. I'm not totally against it. I just find it feels awkward without playing it, you know?
Yeah. Starnsington says, I wonder how many people on average it will take to finish an upgrade. What's to keep the general populace from just marketing their goods and writing off the backs of honest, hardworking citizens? Then play it? Oh, gosh. All right. On that note. So this one is from the 17th, from Tavern Thraxis. And it's asking, once all the ZOIs have the full nodes, why should you fight each other? And I think the idea is like, you're not all going to be top level metropolis, right? And I think as resources ebb and flow, you're going to have that desire, or perhaps maybe there's this other node that is a vassal node that has, for some reason, somewhat better, what do they call those, policies that they can enact? And the buildings that were built there seem more beneficial overall for the whole entire ZOI. So I feel like players themselves over time, through the things that you find, will find reasons to do it, besides what Sneckers is saying, to, make a different node metropolis level. And perhaps it could have been the fact that that area started with whatever node, let's call it the economic node, was the first one to kind of get built up. But there's a scientific that allows for it to have a portal that's the second one down. You have to begin wondering, do I prefer this economic node or do I prefer the scientific node that will give me a portal? What are your thoughts?
I mean, it could even be as simple as like when you start the game, you end up, okay, this is the node that we start leveling, and then you go, I really wish that we had gotten a node that's on the water so that we could, like send trade across the water to the other continent. So that, okay, well, we're going to take over or try and take over this coastal node, So, I mean, there are reasons for it. It makes sense to do it. So, yeah.
Also, from a PvP standpoint, I can't imagine that everyone in the server is going to be the best of friends. So I imagine that there's also going to be a bit of a PvP aspect for, well, yeah, the nodes are built up, but let's go siege anyway.
I just don't like your face. We're sieging.
I bite my thumb at you, sir.
That's a good callback. I like that.
So, I mean, I think of the same kind of thoughts every once in a while, though, why are they going to fight this and that? And I have a feeling that if nothing else, the server is going to grow to a stagnant point where nothing's happening and people are going to say, well, what can we do now? Because I've done all the things. Mm-hmm. Well, if we destroy this metropolis, because we have 2 of this one, right? Let's just go kill one of them. Let's just destroy that node. Mm-hmm. Let's figure out whichever one's going to be weakest, or whichever one's going to whatever. You know what? I saw this other server over there where that node has this really cool dungeon that has this theme of gear that I love. Mm-hmm. Let's go take that one down. And then let's go take this one down and hope the people pick that up over there. Or some people might just want to give up their own node because they want to get, a raid in a different area, and they want to own the node that is near that raid, maybe. Who knows?
Right.
But yeah, just to refresh content and get something that they want that I think is going to be hopefully something that tries to get rid of some of the stagnation at the end when it does get to that point where nobody wants to fight the others because they want to exist peacefully and all that. Mm-hmm. Then someday someone's going to go, no, we have to give somewhere. And this place over here is just boring. So let's just take that node down and see what happens.
Right.
Some people just want to watch the world burn.
Yeah, exactly.
True.
From the comfort of any of the other 4 metropolises. Metropoli.
Metropoli. I like that one. Hello. Okay, we're in an ad break. So while we're in an ad break, hello, Galwood. Welcome in. Oh, no. You guys, wait. It is set up. Shh. Never mind.
Oh, no.
I didn't think I had that, but it's working. So I'm just going to not say anything now.
We saw nothing. We heard nothing.
You heard nothing. But yeah, I was just gonna say, welcome into Galwood. Galwood says various level of power over other players exist in the game. Therefore, people will fight over that power, which I agree with. Opening up for new content is a good reason as well. But also, the relic system will be really important too. Because Nara says a big thing people might not think about is the relics, and it's advantageous to steal those from other nodes. So I could see a good amount of that playing a part.
Absolutely.
Cool. Sorry, I'm getting stuff set up later. We're nerfs. The flying pin is kind of broken. I don't control the game. It's not my game.
Don't worry, there's a balance patch. It used to be the donut. Before that, it was, what was it? The number 1 finger.
I think so. Yeah, it just rotates.
There'll be a new balance patch. It'll be something like the wood block. I don't even think they have a wood block yet. But see, they'll add it in, and it'll be the hot new item.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it'll do the most damage.
Precisely.
Alrighty. We still have about a minute, so I'm just gonna enjoy this a little bit. You still wouldn't have one if you had one regardless. Wow.
Fired.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oof. I felt the heat on that over here.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, Jeffro, for the follow. Appreciate it. By the way, yes, we do have a goal in mind for our Twitch. If we get to 30 subs, I think, let me go grab it open because I forgot what I set it at. But I think it was supposed to be like a bonus day or something like that. Let me see. Let me just restart it. Yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna say if we get to 30, we will get Halloween costumes.
Oh.
Ooh.
For our VTubers.
Hey, it's only 9 away. We'll get costumes for the VTubers, guys.
And sorry, it got cut off by the character count. But yes. I miss your real faces. Yeah, well, I was trying to do my real face last week on Saturday because we started doing BG3, but that didn't really work out last week. But I think we'll be doing it tomorrow night. Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
But don't you worry, Nair. This is a part of our other stuff. So we're gonna also be doing IRL costumes for the charity stream. So
Nice.
yeah. All right, so entering into the randomness thing, I'm going to just kind of transition this to some art. So this art, I just want to tell you who it's by. This is a Fire Mage sketch. This is their Vec. And they recently bought a pre-order to be able to play. So this is from u/content cupcake, which I will share the link out to you. But I will let you look at this magnificent fire mage. And she says, so I made a quick sketch of what I want my character to look like. If they can make the fire mage play like a super mobile caster, I will never stop playing this game till I die. And then they follow up with, do you guys think engineering will be a profession in the game? Because I want goggles and nitro boots and the fun WoW fun things from engineering. So
I don't
that'd
think
be
so.
great.
Yeah,
I would kind of really love if they had some kind of little doodads and trinkets we could make to do fun stuff. Maybe not exactly the nitro boots and whatnot, but just fun things. You know?
Right.
It would be super cool. I just know that Steven has said no steampunk, so I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good question. But there are going to be like cannon type things. So
Yeah, like the potion launchers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like I'm envisioning like ballista. Something that launches it. Trebuchets that sling potions.
See, and now for some reason, the very first thing that came to mind when you said ballista was being able to load people up in it and launch them into the ocean. And now I kind of want a summer event where you can do that.
Oh, we'll have to petition for that then.
Oh my gosh, Neri, you are so silly. So, as I get the video going again, because I apparently didn't put it on loop, farmlands and pastures. So this is kind of going into the random topics, but also somewhat of the more fun RP topics. In simple in concept, probably not so much in execution. I think the world of Vera could use some rolling fields of a rural kind. During the Freehold showcase, it was a little... This person, Aki02, was a little disappointed that crops are grown in their words, style little gardens, and animals are crammed in tiny pens. So perhaps some of the unused area on the Freehold plot could be turned into farmland or pasture once appropriate buildings are constructed on the Freehold. It doesn't even have to be a functional element, although I'd love some interactivity. What are your thoughts on that? Especially coming from like an RP side of like, look at my farm, and then, you know, you have your own little section.
I loved farming in games like Lord of the Rings Online and Gloria Victis, where you would have to like sit there and spread seeds and water and pick it and all of that. I loved it. So if they were able to do that, 100% would like it, but
Yeah, Sir Instinction says range-free pixels.
yes.
Range-free pixels only. Protest.
But I mean, with the space allotment on a freehold, I don't know if they would do that.
Right.
I'm just saying it's kind of neat. It would be kind of neat to be able to just drop your fences, and you would still have some kind of an indicator of your, like, quote unquote property line, but you drop the fences and the animals can kind of wander on and off your property a little bit.
Yeah.
That'd
And
be
that's
cool.
the equivalent of free range, because I mean there's miles and miles of space between you and the next freehold, so
Yeah, that's
Right.
plenty of space. Give them a good like 20 yards to roam a little bit.
Maybe give them like an easement on your
Yeah.
freehold.
Exactly.
That's cute. I my favorite part of this node thing was when I honestly, when I was watching it, I was nervous that Steven was going to attack the critters, but it wasn't Steven. It was one of his doves that attacked it. And I was like, no, leave it be. Valheim was like that. You could tame the hogs, would wander around your base. Yeah. I think even that's kind of a thing with BG3, right? When you get a companion, he just wanders around freely, whatever companion it is that you end up picking up. I love it.
Yeah, but the hogs would escape through walls in Valheim, so let's not do that.
Yeah, please don't
Hogs
come
are wily
barging into my
creatures.
room through the wall. I appreciate that. Ranger and Ashes should be like Ranger and BG3 shoot for 3 miles away. So another topic is best armor design in game. Do you guys have a favorite? This is OP, which is Jolixum. And it's the, I don't know how to explain it. They don't put the name.
Yeah, that.
I don't know what it's from exactly.
Yeah, that one's from
Is that from For Honor?
For Honor. Yeah. That's
Okay.
it. That one's
So-
from For Honor.
I could see some of the more Asian themed races having something kind of like that.
I mean, it's kind of I would say a mix between Empyrean or Kalar
Yeah.
and Renkai.
Yeah, I could see that.
Mhm.
Yeah. There's some nice armors, depends on what style and weight you're going for. Yeah, but like, what's your favorite, you know?
Oh,
Mine was, you know what? Let me find it. It's the purple night looking armor.
Okay.
Of course, it's purple, right?
mine was just the regular Valoon armor that they have on the wiki, where they've got like the coins around the edge, and it covers the head, and it's cloth kind of. I mean, I like it.
Yeah.
I like all things Valoon. So
Yeah, that's fair. Marls?
Yeah.
You have a favorite?
I don't have a single personal favorite, but honestly, I just love what they've done with like the high fantasy elements.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the Empyrean armors and some of their more kind of out there concepts.
Yeah, I could see that. I think that we've seen a lot of different styles when it comes to the cosmetics over the years.
mm-hmm.
My favorite is like that little, it looks like almost like basket woven armor.
Mm-hmm.
I always forget the name of it, but I'm trying to find it. But yeah,
I think I found it.
I like the Lorica Vindicta set. Yeah.
Here we go. These ones here. Let me go ahead and copy this, and I'll paste it in the chat thing.
Okay.
Boom. Yeah, the Ward of the Implacable. I could be okay without the feathers in the back of the helmet, but I don't mind them specifically.
Oh, that is a nice looking set of armor.
Mm. He very much likes the paladin stuff too.
Yeah.
I mean, then there's, well, that's not really the image of one, but That's the page for it anyway. But the image with here you go, I'll just put this image thing in there. It feels like something out of like a Souls game, like some tragic knight that's just going to start whipping out this huge sword and just start slowly wandering after you, mourning his life the entire time. His head seems so dejected.
Wow. Mine, I was like, how did I not remember this one? Because Fae is literally part of the name. Faeguard's Vengeance, that one's my favorite. And I don't know, I always find myself somehow related to the Fae. Any game, I don't mean to, I just do.
And that one is my favorite.
Ooh, yeah. I like that one. They had some really good ones. But yeah, almost no leather armors, yeah. Pyramid head cosmetic, oh no. Some are good, but
that was a good one too.
not this weight. We mainly saw cloth armors or plate armors, yeah. I did get a couple of armor sets, but most aren't at all for me. Oh, yeah, all that for you, yeah. So going from that to the dream nodes discussion, and I have this one currently tagged already to Wizzy's comment. My dream node would probably be something to do with bioluminescence, but after seeing Wizzy's, I was like, if I can combine Wizzy's plus bioluminescence, that's my new dream node. Just bioluminescent waterfalls and bioluminescence everywhere.
She was on somebody else's show and she was sharing that over. I want to say it was Vladis. She was talking about how she was trying to get bioluminescence in there, but I think some of those came from AI art, and it wasn't catching on to the bioluminescence, and it couldn't really. Wasn't really picking that up and putting it in there well.
Yeah, AI art only understands so much.
Yeah, so it looks like you kind of had the same thought that she was trying for.
Yay! See, I would live in the same node as Wizzy.
There you go.
Under row all the way for you, Nair. Nodes look better than I expected. Wonder how they handle the Pyrite node. Yeah, me too. Haven't seen any updates on that. Like, I've seen individual pieces, but how does it go together? What about you two?
I think anything with like good forests and some nice land for farms and freeholds and that kind of thing, and some mountains for minerals would be good. But normally, like being Bayloon, I'm like desert, but I actually would not want to live in the desert.
Like, actually, never mind.
I like the style. I don't necessarily like the biome, as it were.
Right.
But yeah, like, yeah. Meryl, what's your...
I am actually completely with you, Chibi. I want the magic. I want the pretty glowy lights. I want to just kind of log in and just kind of sit for a second and just kind of look at everything. But yeah.
I definitely just... I can imagine having some really gorgeous nodes where you just want to look at how everything just is in general. Just sit there and enjoy the environment. One of my favorite things.
I don't think I have a favorite at all right now.
Speaking of bioluminescence, I'm just going to put this up there while you talk. Sorry. This is from Frog Lips. This is their Pyrite Summoner.
Yeah, no, I've liked the way that they've put through all of the biomes that we've seen so far. And I think what's going to happen with me is I'm going to be all about hanging out in one kind of area until I get bored of it. And then I'm going to find a totally different kind of area that's I'm suddenly going to be obsessed with. And that's just going to be a vicious cycle until I make it through all the different biome types. And by then there's going to be an expansion that introduces like 3 more. And then I'll be obsessed with those.
That's fair. That's fair.
It's nice to like options.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I will probably have a hard time in reality choosing one node to stay in when the time comes.
I'm big on change of scenery.
And that
Only
brings
sit in one
up,
place
like,
for so long.
how is the game going to support, like, our nomadic players who, like, kind of don't want to put down roots and go from place to place?
Right.
Apartments, man. Inns.
Well, at least they have the inns there. Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
But my main concern
Be an
is how
inn liver.
they even mentioned strategic locations. I really hope they don't make some nodes massively better strategically. Yeah, exploration and treasure hunting. Ranger life for me.
Yeah.
That
I mean,
actually,
those of us who are like very much like concerned about resources and materials and like what you can get from the surrounding area, there may be some that are better than others, like some that have forests and mountains right next to each other. So you've got wood and you've got minerals and that kind of thing. So
yeah.
I almost envisioned that statement like strategic locations as being variable per node. Like some of them are going to be much more accessible. Some of them are going to be much more defensible. Some are going to be much more easily supplied with the mining. Some are going to be more easily supplied with animals around for like meats and leathers. And so the strategic location was like based on your strategy, you're going to have to pick the node that's best for you.
Right. I just hope they balance it. Yeah, that's fair. There's another thing I want to talk about as we get towards the ending part of everything. Not quite done yet, but just towards the wrapping up area. Sorry. Yeah. I wanted to talk about the live stream that is coming up on the 29th, which I believe is next week, on the event system for Alpha 2 with the wave-based combat world event. And this link I sent is for the Q&A, so if you have any questions in regards to that, that is a great place for you to put it. But what are you anticipating in terms of the event system with it being wave-based in this particular instance? It kind of gives, I don't know, Monster Coin vibes with the wave system. Just waves of monsters coming at you.
Yeah, I mean, and it kind of like it reminds me of at least retail WoW. They don't do this much in like Wrath of the Lich King Classic, where you had the scenarios and it's like, okay, you have to defend against like so many waves or protect Khadgar or whatever. So it does make me think of that. But I'm uncertain if it's going to be like story driven or like WoW is. It's more of a story driven kind of scenario or whatever, or if it's just, you know, an event where it's X day. It's going to be 5 waves of whatever.
But yes, sorry, to clarify, waves of monsters is what they mean by wave-based combat. So, kind of like 7 Days to Die, I think, is wave-based.
Warframe is wave-based in a lot of instances.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get balloons.
Ashes style tower defense. Well, I mean, that's what New World was for the I forget which kind of siege it was, but it was like the PvE siege, where they would just send waves of different monsters at the base, and you had to defend it. And it just got steadily harder and harder and harder.
I like when waves aren't easily beaten, and then monsters later, a group finally beats it and eventually bastards it. Yeah, I tend to not do so great against wave-based personally, at least solo, because I get overwhelmed as time goes on. I think that's the intent, but it's like, I feel like I get overwhelmed before other people get overwhelmed.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of that way too, because once you start getting so many and you just see your health go down and down and down, you start to panic.
Yeah. Vertec, what do you think about the wave-based event?
I'm okay with wave-based stuff, as long as it fits the theme and it feels right for that time. When it's just kind of random, or when it's everything, when everything is wave-based, this kind of gets old, I feel. Like entire games that are based around it, to me, no matter how good the game feels, after a while I start to get bored.
That's fair.
And start thinking of how much I really want to finish the game, or if I'm okay with just leaving it as it is and walking away.
Yeah.
But if it feels right for that situation, then it's cool.
Yeah.
That's a good point. All right. We are here towards the last end of our episode. Some announcements, I think, and then we'll have you guys do your closing sentences and thoughts for the podcast today. But just as a heads up, we're doing a double show next week. We'll be having a guest on after the live stream, and then we ourselves will be guests of the Tangents of Creation podcast. So just keep an eye out for that. I think one of our friends, Turgo Live, is doing a charity event 24-hour stream tomorrow. So we will probably be popping on sometime during that tomorrow. But aside from that, I have a couple of honorable mentions that I will put out there while our guests do their closing sentences, closing statements.
Oh, goodness. I feel like I'm put on the spot.
Got any last words?
Yeah,
Right?
basically.
No, it's just been great having conversations with you guys. We look forward to watching more. And if you see somebody in GS, reach out to us. We like talking.
Yeah.
and role playing.
And roleplay. And to that,
Yes. I wasn't aware we were supposed to prepare something. I'm sorry. But
it's more
thanks.
like a final thoughts on the podcast, any lasting thoughts, like anything that stuck with you kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but thank you so much for having us both on here. It's been great. I really look forward to seeing how the dev team kind of takes these suggestions, and if any are implemented, and if so, how, things like that. But yeah.
Vertex?
All right. Well, as always, everybody. Yeah, last words. I can do nothing for you, son. But yeah, as always, thank you everybody for hanging out with us, for chatting. That's the greatest support you can possibly give us, is just literally hanging out, giving us your opinion, and telling us what to think about ours, and discussing topics with us, keeping us company. So we're not here just talking into the void of the tavern's dining area. Nobody having a mead, nobody having a steak or a nice anything, really.
Cottage pie.
Just being here is amazing. Yeah. Just being here is amazing. Your time is valuable. You do not get refunds, and it's really hard to make more of it. I've tried and I've gotten nowhere. So we appreciate you spending it with us. Thank you so much. We love you all.
We are going to read over to Vladis Gaming, who is, I think, currently ranking Ashes of Creation classes.
And my first comment to him, if everyone can express your sadness at this, his ranking system did not include a lowest rank that says tank. It needs to have that. That needs to be the bottom rank.
Alrighty, well, thank you all for joining us. We'll see you next week, and until then, have a wonderful day.
Bye.